We're going to want Mr. Pfeiffer.
Yes, he's on Zoom.
Mr. Pfeiffer, there he is. Mr. Pfeiffer, this is your case?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. All right, this is a Judge Buchanan case, and we're on the record in docket 24-02326. That is, fix that. And we're on the record in People versus Richard Norman. Will the parties please introduce themselves for the record? Mr. Pfeiffer.
Morning, Your Honor. Assistant Prosecuting Attorney Adam Pfeiffer on behalf of the people.
And Mr. Freeman.
Good morning, Your Honor. Stephen A. Freeman, Assistant Public Defender, appearing on behalf of Mr. Norman, who appears by Zoom.
And sir, if you'll unmute and show yourself, you are Richard Norman, is that correct? You'll have to unmute. There you go. Sir, you're Richard Norman, is that correct? All right. You can hear me all right, Mr. Norman?
Yes, I can hear.
All right, thank you. This is the time set for probable cause conference. Mr. Pfeiffer, how are we proceeding?
Your Honor, the people are asking this to proceed to preliminary examination.
Is that your understanding, Mr. Freeman?
It is, Your Honor.
Okay, so we will leave on for preliminary examination on August 30th at 8:30 in front of Judge Buchanan. Anything else for the record in 24-02326, Mr. Pfeiffer?
Not from the people, Your Honor.
Mr. Freeman?
Nothing further. Thank you.
All right, Mr. Norman, you'll be in front of Judge Buchanan on August 30th at 8:30. All right, sir?
Would you mind reminding the gentleman to appear in person?
Okay. Oh, yeah, Mr. Norman, that will be a live in-person appearance, all right? So Zoom would be inappropriate.
Thank you.
All right, that's all for the record in 24-02326. Thank you, everybody, for your appearance.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Carter, you're here on Mr. Mitchell.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, we were just inquiring as to who you filed your substitution of counsel. So we're on the record in docket 24-01201. That is People of the State of Michigan versus Robert Mitchell. Will the parties please introduce themselves for the record? Mr. Nagel.
Good morning, Your Honor. Matt Nagel for the people.
And then Ms. Wanji, you filed an appearance, but there's a substitution of attorney, but your appearance for the record.
Good morning, Your Honor. Assistant Public Defender Melanie Wanji.
All right. And then Mr. Carter, you have filed the substitution of attorney. I don't see an appearance in the file, but I'm assuming one is coming forth.
Please the court, David B. Carter Jr. on behalf of Mr. Mitchell. That is correct, Your Honor. I circulated the substitution of attorney yesterday, and the appearance is out in the mail today as the mail ran yesterday by the time I got it filled out.
All right. And then your client is here via Zoom. That is Mr. Mitchell. You'll have to unmute. So Robert Mitchell, you should unmute and show your video.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right. So, sir, you are Robert Mitchell. Is that correct?
That is correct, Your Honor.
All right. Thank you. And you can hear me all right, Mr. Mitchell?
Yes, I can, Your Honor.
All right. This is the time set for a probable cause conference. Mr. Nagel, how are we proceeding?
Your Honor, this is currently scheduled for a preliminary exam on August 30th at 8:30 a.m. The people would request that this be left set for preliminary exam.
And Mr. Carter, is that your understanding that we'll leave this on for preliminary examination? And then once you get the appearance in, that'll be dealt with on August 30th. Is that a fair statement?
No, Your Honor, I was going to request an adjournment to the preliminary exam. I'm in Eaton County all day that day on the 9th. I mean, on next Friday.
Is Mr. Mitchell willing to waive his 21-day rule today?
He is. I discussed that with him yesterday, and he indicated that he would be willing to do that so that I can be prepared.
All right, Mr. Nagel, do you have any objection to the waiver of the 21-day rule?
No objection, Your Honor.
All right. Mr. Carter, may I inquire of Mr. Mitchell of his waiver of the 21-day rule?
You may.
All right, Mr. Mitchell, you understand you have a right to a preliminary examination today, it'll be actually a right to a preliminary examination on August 30th at 8:30. A preliminary examination is a probable cause hearing in which the people would have to prove by probable cause evidence that a crime has been committed and the identity of the person who committed that crime. You are represented today by Attorney David Carter, and he would be present to cross-examine any witnesses or contest any charges brought against you by the people of the state of Michigan. It is my understanding it is your wish to waive your right to a prelim only within that 21-day period. You wouldn't be waiving your right to a prelim in general. You'd be waiving your right to a prelim only within that 21-day period so that Mr. Carter can get discovery and get up to speed. It appears Mr. Carter has a conflict for this date. So we'd be adjourning outside that 21-day period. Is it your wish today to waive your right to a prelim outside of that 21-day period?
That's correct, Your Honor.
And Mr. Nagel, you're also waiving the people's right to a prelim outside that 21-day period.
We do, Your Honor.
All right. So I find the waiver of the 21-day rule to be knowing, voluntarily, and accurately made. We will set. So see, we'll set, we have some dates from. So from Judge Buchanan, we have September 26th. Does that work in your schedule, Mr. Carter?
Yes.
All right, so we'll set it for September 26th at 8:30?
10:30.
10:30, at 10:30. So we've reset the preliminary examination for September 26th at 10:30. Anything else for the record in docket 24-01201, Mr. Nagel?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Carter?
No, Your Honor.
Ms. Wanji,
I just want to have
Okay.
a copy of the signed substitution.
yeah, you can get a copy from my court officer.
Okay, thank you.
And Mr. Mitchell, you'll be in front of Judge Buchanan on September 26th at 10:30. All right, sir?
Okay, thank you, Your Honor.
Oh, thank you. You're all set. Thank you for your appearance today.
Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor, and thank you, Mr.
Thank you, Mr.
Nagel.
Carter. All right, so we're on the record in docket 24-02374. That is People of the State of Michigan versus Olivia N. Shook. Will the parties please introduce themselves for the record? Ms. Wilson.
Good morning, Your Honor. Jennifer Lawton on behalf of the people.
Mr. Nichols.
And Assistant Public Defender Scott Nichol on behalf of Ms. Shook.
And Ms. Shook is in, where's Ms. Shook?
She is not here.
Okay, that would explain that. All right, so this was initially set, Ms. Shook, for 9 o'clock. It is now 9:33. I do not see an Olivia Shook in the Zoom courtroom. I do not see anybody by that name in the waiting room. And I don't see anybody. Is there an Olivia Shook in the physical courtroom? It would appear, Ms. Lawton, that the defendant has failed to appear for the probable cause conference.
That is my understanding.
How would you like to proceed?
Your Honor, at this time, I would be requesting a bench warrant. It's my understanding Ms. Shook's mother is present. She has also indicated that she does not see Ms. Shook here today. Just based on a conversation that I've had with her, I think that there are some concerns about her appearing for court. So I would be requesting a bench warrant at this time.
Any comment, Mr. Nichols?
I did place a call to the number I have for Ms. Shook. I left a message. I have not received a call back. I would ask that the court put a 48-hour hold on issuing any bench warrant.
All right, this is, I would indicate this is the first bench warrant that's been requested. There's not a previous bill to appear. However, it is a child abuse 3rd degree, which is an assaultive crime. So I'm going to issue a bench warrant and bond forfeiture with a bench warrant and bond forfeiture based on the representations of counsel.
Thank you, Your Honor. I would note, just so the court is aware, she does have another case pending with similar allegations in the 55th District Court that's scheduled for a PCC on Tuesday. So I guess if she appears on that one, we can have her address this.
Right, we can have her address this, and maybe if it's Tuesday, still keep this on the prelim on for August 30th. Okay,
Keep the date set, but I would not expect witnesses to appear. We
right,
treat it as
right,
PCC.
right. So yeah, if you'll let the court know that if she appears. If not, the bench warrant's issued.
Your Honor, if I may as well, I believe that she has a dog ticket set for pretrial in front of this court on Monday.
All right, all right.
Your Honor, there is one other issue. We do have a protective order that needs to be signed by the court, if the judge would allow that, to release confidential CPS records.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Lutton. All right, so I'm in possession of the stipulated order to disclose and protect confidential records. I will sign that. It's been signed by the parties. And then I think, is that, we provide copies?
If you could, that would be appreciated. Thank you.
So I'll give this to the court officer and you can get copies from my court officer.
Thank you.
Anything else for the record in docket 24-02374, Ms. Lawton?
Nothing else from the people. Thank
Mr.
you.
Nichols?
Nothing else from the defense.
All right, thank you.
Your Honor, we're ready on Mr. Nicholas Richardson when the court is. Mr. Richardson's Ingham Jail Post 2.
Yep.
I'm not talking to him. No.
What was that name, Mr. Nagel?
It is Mr. Richardson Nicholas, 24-01508.
That's Mr. Goodrich's client.
Yes, Your Honor.
And Mr. Richardson is here or not, or on?
He's right there.
Okay, he's on view, he's on Zoom, all right. So it's a loose track. All right, so we're on the record in docket 24-01508. That is people of the state of Michigan versus Nicholas Richardson. Will the parties please introduce themselves for the record? Mr. Nagel.
Good morning, Your Honor. Matt Nagel for the people.
Mr. Goodrich.
Attorney Luke Goodrich from the Public Defender's Office here to represent Mr. Richardson, who is appearing over Polycom from the Ingham County Jail today.
And sir, you are Nicholas Richardson, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And you can hear me all right, Mr. Richardson?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. This is the time set for a probable cause conference. Mr. Nagel, how are we proceeding today?
Your Honor, this is currently set for a preliminary exam on Friday, August 30th at 8:30 a.m. It's my understanding we're going to leave this set.
We wanted to waive it.
Oh, I guess we're going to be waiving the exam, Your Honor.
Okay, so this is a unconditional waive, so I'm assuming this is negotiations are to continue, it's a waiver.
That's correct, Your Honor.
Yes, Your Honor, we would just, I guess, have the prosecutor place an offer that on the record at this time. We had been in discussions regarding the possibility of sobriety court at the district court level. However, at this time, we have Mr. Richardson's made the decision to pursue a offer in circuit court.
All right, so did you want to place any offer on the record, Mr. Nagel?
Your Honor, on waiver, the offer in the circuit court would be to make a sentence recommendation with a cap in the circuit court. That is the only offer at this time, but negotiations will continue.
All right, so negotiations continue and some type of sentence cap would be part of the offer. Is that your understanding, Mr. Goodrich?
I believe it was that, as well as that the habitual offender notice would be.
Oh, thank you.
Dropped in circuit court.
Okay.
Yes, that's correct. Thank you.
All right. Mr. Richardson, is that your understanding that the offer this time, which was placed on the record, would be an offer in circuit court, negotiations continue. There would be a sentence cap and the dismissal is to be would be dismissed. Is that a fair statement, Mr. Richardson?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Mr. Goodrich, may I inquire of your client of his waiver of the preliminary examination?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Richardson, you understand that you have a right to a preliminary examination. A preliminary examination is a probable cause hearing in which the people would have to prove by probable cause evidence that a crime has been committed and the identity of the person who committed that crime. You are represented today by attorney Luke Goodrich, and he would be present to cross-examine any witnesses or contest any charges brought against you by the people of the state of Michigan. Is it your wish today to waive your right to your preliminary examination today in district court, have this case move on to circuit court? The offer has been placed on the record and negotiations are to continue. Is it your wish today to waive your right to a preliminary examination?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Nagel, do the people also waive their right to preliminary examination?
People do, Your Honor, that's unconditional.
All right, thank you. I find the preliminary examination to be waiver to be knowing, voluntarily, and accurately made, and I'll provide any documentation on the waiver to counsel to sign.
Thank you.
All right, so we're back on the record in docket 24-01508, and I am in possession of the documentation, the waiver documentation. Mr. Goodrich has signed it. Mr. Richardson, you're in custody at this time, but do you authorize signature via Zoom?
Yes.
All right. Let's write that in there. And Mr. Nagel is signed on behalf of the prosecution. I will have, so this examination was waived on today's date. That's August 23rd, 2024. Is there anything else to come to the court's attention before I sign the bind over documentation, Mr. Nagel?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Goodrich?
No, Your Honor.
All right. I will sign the documentation. Mr. Richardson, your time in district court is done. You'll be on to circuit court where negotiations are to continue, and you'll get your next date in circuit court from Mr. Goodrich. All right, sir?
Okay.
Okay, we're all set. Thank you for your appearance on 24-01-508.
Okay, thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Thank
All right, ma'am, are you Cecilia Terrell?
Yeah, I am.
All right. So we're on the record in docket 24-02-344. That is people of the state of Michigan versus Cecilia Marie Terrell. Will the parties please introduce themselves for the record? Ms. Wilson.
Abigail Wilson for the people.
And ma'am, you are Cecilia Terrell, is that correct?
Correct.
And you're presently in the Ingham County Jail Post 1. Is that a fair statement?
Yes.
All right, and you can hear me all right?
Perfect.
All right. You are unrepresented by an attorney today, is that correct?
That is the public defender that they provided me. I didn't quite enjoy, so I'd say I'd rather defend myself.
So you did not want a court-appointed attorney at that day. You did not seek a court-appointed attorney.
I did not. I mean, I don't mind having one. I did not want the one that they provided.
Say it again, ma'am. I didn't hear that.
The one that they provided while I was incarcerated that I've seen during Zoom was actually doing weird things. I'm not entirely sure what she was doing because I can't see everything. But I did observe her doing some odd things. And so, yeah, I said I would prefer her not to defend me and I would defend myself because, yeah.
So you're going to defend yourself at the preliminary examination?
Yes, me and God.
You're not going to be retaining a counsel?
Not particular one. No, it'll be me and God and spirit.
Ms. Wilson.
So the attorney that appears at arraignment is just the person that's there for arraignment.
For arraignment purposes only.
It's not who's assigned.
Correct.
So she can apply for public defender and she might not get that person.
She's chosen not to.
It's a really bad idea.
I agree. You understand, Ms. Terrell, that these are felony charges and you'd be going into a felony charge representing yourself. Do you understand that?
I understand that it's never just me.
But would you prefer
it says in the
would you
Bible,
prefer some
sir,
type of representation?
If it's not that girl, we'll see what you guys have. But it says in the Bible not to worry about what I'm going to say because in the hour that I am in court, that I will be given the words that is supposed to be said. So if I'm being protected and serve God, doesn't he trump a human? Isn't his words going to be a little bit better than what an attorney could say?
So at this point in time, I have some concerns. And so let's leave on for preliminary examination and the court will consider on their own motion filling out a packet. Because not just because I want to make sure that Ms. Terrell is represented or not represented for the appropriate reason.
I don't know if one of the public defenders in the courtroom here today might be able to meet with Ms. Terrell in a breakout room and get an intake done.
Does she want a public defender?
It sounds like she's open to it.
Ms. Terrell, would you be open to a separate public defender taking application on this case? That would be different from the one you had at arraignment. The one at arraignment is only assigned for arraignment purposes.
Right. Yes, but I prefer to meet them in person. We can do a breakout room. I'm familiar with that.
Let's start with a breakout room. What I'm going to do is at this probable cause hearing, I'm going to leave on for preliminary examination. for, when was this set for? August 30th at 8:30?
Yes.
August 30th, 8:30. I'm gonna allow a public defender to meet with you, at least to start to meet with you. Once they join the room, I'm not certain who wants to meet with Miss Terrell in order to take application.
I do actually. I have not.
Thank you, Mr. Nichol.
All right, so Mr. Nichol is gonna join the court. He's gonna join the Zoom room, and we'll start with Mr. Nichol asking some questions, making application to that experienced public defender, and then we'll go from there. But this is left on for August 30th at 8:30. All right, ma'am?
Sounds good to me.
All right. Any questions, Ms. Wilson, on how we're proceeding?
No, Your Honor, I'm very clear. Thank you.
All right, thank you. All right, so Ms. Terrell, once Mr. Nichols is able to join us, I'm going to place you in a breakout room. All right, ma'am?
Okay, sounds good to me.
All right, thank you. So stand by, Ms. Terrell, and I'm going to place you in a breakout room once the attorney joins us via Zoom, all right?
Sounds good.
Thank you. In the Ingham County Jail Post 2, would you identify yourself, sir?
Jacaris Bradley.
All right, Mr. Bradley, we'll call your case next. All right, so we're on the record in docket 24-02362. That is People of the State of Michigan versus Jacaris Bradley. Will the parties please introduce themselves for the record? Mr. Nagel.
Good morning, Your Honor. Matt Nagel for the people.
Mr. Austin.
And good morning, Your Honor. Jared Austin appearing on behalf of Mr. Bradley. He appears with us remotely from the Ingham County Jail.
And sir, you are Jacaris Bradley, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
All right, and you can hear me all right, Mr. Bradley?
Yes, sir.
All right, this is the time set for a probable cause conference. Mr. Nagel, how we proceeding?
Your Honor, it's my understanding this is currently scheduled for August 30th at 9 a.m. for a preliminary exam. I think we're going to be leaving it set.
All right, is that a fair statement, Mr. Austin?
That's my understanding as well, Your Honor.
We'll leave on for preliminary examination in front of Judge Buchanan for August 30th at 9 a.m. Anything else for the record in 24-02362, Mr. Nagel?
No, Your Honor. Thank you.
Mr. Austin.
Nothing additional on behalf of Mr. Bradley.
All right, Mr. Bradley, you'll be in front of Judge Buchanan on August 30th at 9 a.m. Thank you for your appearance today. That's all for the record in 24-02362.
Thank you. Yeah, what?
All right, so Mr. White, we'll call your case. We're on the record in docket 24-02223. That is people of the state of Michigan versus Aaron Cooper. Will the parties please introduce themselves for the record? Ms. Wilson.
Abigail Wilson for the people.
Mr. White.
Walter White, retained counsel for Aaron Cooper.
All right, and sir, you are Aaron Cooper, is that correct?
Yes, that is correct.
All right, thank you. This is time set for a probable cause conference. Mr. White, it's the court's understanding that the substitution of counsel was signed, but we don't have an appearance processed through, and the substitution of counsel has that been processed through?
I believe the court has signed it. I'm not entirely sure the procedure, but I believe it, after it's signed, it then needs to be filed with the clerk's office, if Ms. Holden can.
It's actually supposed to be filed with the clerk's office and sent to us.
All
So,
right.
yes.
So it needs to make its way to the clerk's office, because Mr. Palmer is still showing us the attorney.
All
of
right, so
record.
we still have Mr. Palmer as the attorney of record. The substitution of counsel has been signed, but needs to go to the clerk's office, and then there has to be an appearance. So the prosecutor has a person to send the discovery request to. Is that a fair statement?
Yes, Your Honor, and I have provided Mr. White last night with the email for our discovery unit.
All right, so Mr. White, the thought process was, until that paperwork is all perfected, is that we just leave on for prelim next week.
All right, Your Honor, I'd indicate that I got an email from your court that they provided my appearance to the prosecutor's office, and apparently from what Ms. Wilson sent me an email yesterday, the prosecutors did have an appearance, but the court did not forward a copy of the unsigned substitution, which I had previously filed. I sent a copy of the unsigned substitution to the discovery unit at the prosecuting attorney's office. So hopefully that will be enough that we can be prepared to go next Friday, unless there's some reason for us to agree to an adjournment.
All right, Ms.
I
Wilson.
have no problem with an adjournment. However, the appearance still needs to be filed with the court, with the clerk. The substitution still needs to be filed with the clerk. We still need to receive copies to our discovery unit. The court is not anybody's secretary. It doesn't do things for people. So procedures still need to be followed. If there's an adjournment that's needed, that's fine.
But I'm reluctant to do an adjournment without having everything, the appearance filed and everything signed. I'm reluctant to do anything. So I'm going to leave it on for preliminary examination next week until the appearance and substitution of counsel is perfected. Because right now in the computer, the attorney of record is still Mr. Palmer from the public defender's office. So, and we want to make sure that there's a substitution of counsel, Mr. White.
Your Honor, can I just point something out? I filed an appearance, a substitution, and a discovery demand all at the same time.
Who'd you file that with?
Your clerk, and I got or not your clerk.
But no, but you have to file it with the civil clerk, with the criminal clerk, not with my personal clerk.
No. With the criminal clerk, and I got an email acknowledgement that they'd gotten it, and they said that they had filed or forwarded an appearance to the prosecuting attorney's office. Your Honor, I've been doing this for 47 years. I know how to substitute into a case.
Okay, but I'm just being careful here. You understand that, Mr. White? We still, our computer still shows that Mr. Palmer is the attorney of record. I want that all cleaned up before we go on a preliminary examination.
Is there a substitution in the court file?
I have no substitution of counsel in the court file.
Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Okay.
Let me address that. I have an appearance in the court file, and I have a substitution of counsel, and they're both signed by myself.
Okay, so both those then need to go to the discovery unit. My understanding is that the court does not forward that to us. That's the responsibility of the attorney. And I provided the email for that.
Yeah, so what we'll do is, I've just looked in the file. I have a substitution of attorney signed. I have an appearance on your behalf. So so we have the information we need in the file. But you don't have any discovery because Miss Wilson hasn't been presented with the appearance yet.
I vaguely recall our director of communications forwarding me something back at the PCC. At that time, it hadn't been filed with the court. Last night, I provided Mr. White with the email to send that to get discovery from our office.
All right, so Mr. White, you should get an email from Miss Wilson indicating that we'll have full discovery.
He already has the email to send it to.
Okay.
It doesn't come from me. It comes from the
whatever.
discovery
All
unit.
right. All right. With that understanding, go ahead, Mr. Weiss.
Just to be clear, Miss Wilson, in the email you sent me yesterday, didn't you indicate that you had received an appearance, but not a substitution?
Right. I have an appearance and I have a signed substitution, but I think that's in our file. I don't think the court has that. I don't think that the criminal court has that. I just think that's in our file.
Yes, that's my understanding. I think it was provided to this court at the PCC, but I don't think it's made its way to the court clerk who needs to process it and update the register of actions.
All right. So we'll make sure that happens. We'll make sure that the substitution of attorney and appearance goes to the criminal court, whatever they need. And then, do we still want to leave this on then?
I'll leave it to the court's discretion.
All right. So, Mr. White, I appear to have both the substitution of attorney and appearance. We can leave this on for the preliminary examination, and you don't have any discovery yet, or we can adjourn that to that August 23rd date. It's really up to you.
If we could just put the probable cause conference to the 30th, that would be fine. I don't mind, as long as I'm going to have discovery, I don't mind proceeding to preliminary examination next week.
All right. Well, it's completely up to you. If you want, I think this might be good cause to adjourn the preliminary examination.
That's fine. Just the substitution and the appearance need to go to the police report.
We'll take care of that. We'll take care of that. Yeah. So we'll make sure that the paperwork gets from our file to whatever the criminal file is. That seems to be a bureaucratic nightmare.
Yes, and my concern is more that it gets to our discovery unit because I'm getting people in my office are getting emails for stuff that they don't handle. I've provided the email. It needs to go to that email.
Right. All right. So, Mr. White, would you prefer a probable cause conference on August 30th once you have all the material set?
Yes, please.
All right. All right. So let's just turn that preliminary examination date into a probable cause conference date, and then we don't have to waive anything, or we don't have anything to waive.
That's fine.
So we'll just leave on for PCC for August 30th. And then we'll address the matter then. So leave on for PCC on 8:30. So the PCC will be August 30th. And then we'll address anything that needs to be waived on that date.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Concerning the matter. All right. So Mr. Cooper.
Your Honor, I would indicate we waived the 21 days.
Oh, all right. Because so he's already waived the 21-day rule on August 9th, I believe.
Correct.
So yeah. So let's set it for PCC on at 8:30 next week, and we'll go from there. Anything else for the record? It's set at 8:30 on. Is it 8:30?
I'm not sure. But I wasn't here.
I don't remember if we set a preliminary.
So my question is.
We can start it at 8:30 on the 30th for PCC.
All right, August 30th at 8:30. So we'll set it for 8:30 on August 30th.
All right, I'll see you then. Thank you.
All right. All right. So it's set for August 30th at 8:30 for PCC. The waiver was previously 21-day rule was previously waived on August 9th. Anything else for the record in 24-02223, Ms. Wilson?
Not for the people.
Mr. White, do you have any questions of the court?
No, nothing for defense.
All right,
Thank you.
thank you. Mr. Cooper, we'll see you on August 30th at 8:30. All right, sir?
All right, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
All right, thanks, Chairman.
That is Mr. Mr. Nichol, you were able to meet with Ms. Terrell?
Yes, and I was able to get the information necessary to ever screen for public
All
defender.
right, thank you.
And I think we can just leave the hearing set next week.
Yeah, I think we just left it on,
Yeah.
so we just ended up leaving it on. So thank you, Mr. Nichol.
Not a problem. Thank you, Your Honor.